Welcome to this video on how to submit a pull request to Microsoft. Hi, I'm Eric, and in this video we're gonna do something new. This takes a lot of explaining, so let's get right into it. So here is my good old trusted Visual Studio Code, and where to start? Let's start with the fact that when you're pulling symbols, you're typically getting three different files. You're getting Microsoft System Application, and Microsoft Base Application, and those are all the objects that makes up the universe of AL. And one of them is interesting. Which is not which is not the system. So the one called system, that's just objects that makes all the technical bits work, users and printers and fields and stuff like that. Not very interesting. Base application, that's where our accounting application, that's where you got the customer table and the GL accounts and all that stuff. But the third one is the system applications. They're both called system and application. And system application is what you can see here. That's all the functionality that's not really accounting, so to speak. So that's more or less generic functionality. Azure, AD tenant, data compression, OAuth, cryptography, tons of stuff, camera, and one of them, let's find it, here it is, base 64 conversion. So base 64 is a way to take binary data and encode it as 7-bit letters, basically. So you can transport something that's binary to a non-binary method of transport. Could be email. Sorry, grab some coffee or something, because this might be a long explanation. So I ran into the issue that. And I actually reported the issue on the GitHub, because all the code in this one, I'm switching it. All the code in this group of objects are actually open source, and all the source code is sitting on GitHub. In the Microsoft/AL app extensions. So I created an issue saying, hey, the base 64 code unit is doing all string conversion with UTF-8 as text encoding. And if you happen to get something that's not UTF-8, or you need to produce that, then you're out of luck. So I said, hey, I would like that. And the good Jesper from Microsoft, find him on Twitter. Make sure to follow him. Great guy. He said, hey, that's a valid request, but how about you submitting a pull request for that? And so let's do that. And for this not to turn into a video of me actually creating some stuff, I have created what I want to put into the pull request. I got that somewhere. Let's see, we're actually in the right one. So I have that here. So what I have done, let's go back to this for a second, is that I have found in here on the system, the base 64 convert. Here's the source, and there's a code unit and a implementation code unit. So this is kind of the start layout for what will become interfaces. So we have one code unit, and then that one calls another code unit. And we can see the source in here. All is good. I have copied that into a little test project here and created the functions that I feel Microsoft are missing. the ones that I would need anyway. They are in here. Here's one example with text encoding and code pages, and depending on what text encoding is, we handle the strings differently. And we can do this in this one with .NET because this is will be a trusted code unit. So even if it's running in the cloud, you can still do .NET. I have created the interfaces for all this. I have created the tests. I have run the test. Everything works. I have even updated the documentation. So let's get back to GitHub and start seeing if we can figure this out. So the first thing you need to do, so pull request is basically when you have two related repositories in Git, and then you can ask, in this case Microsoft, hey, look at my version and take that into yours. So the first thing I need to do is I need to create a copy of the ALApps extension repository, and I do that by clicking fork, and this should only take a few seconds. So now you can see it's Hogard/ALApps extensions. Great. So I already had this now in mind, so this is a copy. So what I can do here, because this is all Microsoft, I can simply say, let's open with Visual Studio. Or I could actually, I think I can hit that. No, I can't. And I think this is actually the wrong Visual Studio. So let's go back to this one and open with GitHub Desktop instead. And this is the one I want to copy, and I give it a local path, clone. So now we're getting everything into how are you planning to use this fork to contribute to the parent project? Yes, continue. So now we got this, and we can open this in Visual Studio Code. I'm not sure if I can make this one bigger. I can. Excellent. Sorry for not having that one big to begin with. We're gonna get back to that one for a second. Okay, so here is, let's close all these. Here are all Microsoft's modules, and the way this is built is clearly for the purpose of Microsoft and their thing. So everything is like a separate extension, and then it will go into the same extension as one big extension at the end. But I'll find what I need here in source. This is the base. Let's take the implementation first. And somewhere else I have my implementation here. So I'll grab this, and I renumber it because I need it too. So I'll just start with the first copy from the first method, because I also changed the access and all that good stuff. Replace this. I will save it. I will do the same thing for the interface. So I'll go and copy everything from the first function to the end. From the first function to the end, save that. So now I have changed those two. Then I actually updated the README also, because that's the documentation, and what's good is stuff without documentation. So I will copy that in also. So right now we can see that I have 3 changed files. So I have one more because we also have the tests. So let's go out in this one. And instead of system, let's find system tests and find the base64 convert source, the test code unit for this, and go back into mine and find my tests here. And we will just go from the variables. That was not what I wanted to do, so let's try it again. Go from the variables. There we are. Because we did add some, and this one is, then that's the wrong one. So this one is actually, let's not go from the variables because we need the right number here. So let's go from sample text instead. I hope you guys follow. I'll try to explain this in a second so it makes sense. That's it. Save this one, close this one. So now we have 4 changed files in this repository. We have a README, and we can see that I have added some syntax here, and I've added some more syntax here. So that's all good. We can see that in the interface, I have added 2 methods here, and a method there, and 2 here. And in the implementation, I have added some overloads and a new function that takes all the different in text encodings, and in test, I've added some new arrows and some new sample text. So right now we're selecting to convert Danish characters, just to make sure that we're not converting anything that's only within the shared space of some of the character sets, which is exactly what Microsoft is actually doing with their own text. They're only testing on stuff that's 7-bit, so that's actually not a very good test, but that's a different story. And I've added and perhaps we should remove the OK here. I've added 2 tests to test that. So I can now commit this. So we'll say base64 support for text encoding different from UTF-8. So now we're less than. We commit that. And we can go back to the GitHub desktop, and we have one commit setting, so we'll push that to GitHub. No, so I'm the wrong user here. So let's actually try this. If this doesn't work, let's do this instead. The world of Git with multiple users are, there we go. Oh, I got it. Well, if you have multiple identities, then Git can be interesting. Okay, so this is my. So now you can see this branch is 1 commit ahead of Microsoft Master. I committed this commit. We have some tests, we have some, well, all the stuff we just saw. So that's great. Now we're ready to say, hey, Microsoft. Oops, there we go. Hey, Microsoft, we're going to ask you to look at this pull request. So we'll create a pull request. And we should tell. And we can, of course, start by copying this. Hey, Microsoft. Reference this. This is a PR with support for UTF-16, MS-DOS, and Windows code pages for the base 64 convert code units. Two tests are added and the README is updated with the new overloads. To keep the merge clean, I have not modified your methods to call my base methods, so there's two different base methods. Cheers. Okay. Create pull request. There we go. So let's update our issue with a comment saying, here you go. Let me know if this is usable. Comment. Okay. Well, it's not that bad. 17 minutes so far. Okay, so let's see what happens. Microsoft may take this code and look at it. This is all wrong, or they might include it. But this is the process. So the great thing about that entire group of objects, the one we will not, that one, this one, is that everything in here is basically open sourced. The license is actually the MIT license. So even though it's open source, you could potentially take this code and go somewhere else, but the only platform that currently can execute code like this and has any chance of it is ever making this ever working will be Business Central. So it's fine, it's open source, but it doesn't really mean the same thing as we would. But we do have the source and we have the ability to commit to it. So this is the way to go about if you feel that you're missing some functionality in the base libraries, or you have ideas to making it better. I've got a bunch of ideas on the JSON handling, because I can see that in all my apps I have been adding a lot of just helper functions to make the JSON experience more readable, make the code nicer, and I might at some point want to submit that, and it'll be the exact same procedure as this one. So now we'll see what happens. I have no clue. This is not live, but this is Sunday evening, so we'll see what happens, and I will surely update what happens and create another video when something happens. But until then, Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you're not missing when I'm posting the next video, and follow me on Twitter, and let me know in the comments if this was all wrong, and or you have a better idea. I didn't go into the whole trying to compile that extension, because that's like an hour-long video otherwise. So I did on purpose create the code I wanted somewhere else and just pasted it in, because I'm mostly interested right now for this video in just the process. But let me know what you think, and until next time, have a wonderful day.